This game is about running a pixelated restaurant in a small town. After the huge success of Stardew Valley, a whole bunch of similar titles flooded the market. There were successful attempts and total failures. Which category does this one fall into? Either way, I'm Uncle Bob and I invite you to my review. The game begins with your arrival by train in a small town, and the takeover of a building that used to be a restaurant. It is your responsibility to rebuild the old business, which once belonged to a friend of our hero. So, nothing groundbreaking, but what is new is that we run our own restaurant. I haven't had the opportunity to play a pixelated restaurant game similar to Stardew Valley yet, and I don't even know if one existed before. And yes, this is not the full version of the game. It is still in early access, which received its last patch just before Christmas. But driven by the vision of owning my own eatery, I dove into this production with great enthusiasm. The game takes place in an unspecified future, where androids live among humans. What's more, when creating our character, we can choose whether we want to play as a human or an android. This choice has certain pros and cons, but in the end, they don't have much of an impact on anything. Especially the plot. I chose an android because I was curious about the possibility of using equipment designed only for them. Sadly, there's practically no such equipment. I found only 3 or 4 pieces throughout the entire game, which is pretty weak. An android guides us around the city, helping us open our business and get to know the residents. There aren't many of them, and they are strange, or rather grotesque, which is one of the downsides of this game in several ways. Starting with their appearance in the portraits, some of them make me feel nauseous and sick to my stomach. The style of these avatars is like something out of a nightmare. Out of the 20 characters in the game, there isn't a single portrait that I would say is pretty and fits the game world. I feel like they are from different production with a completely different style. I had trouble choosing a girl to start hitting on, precisely because of the repulsive portraits. Only 2 or 3 people in the whole town were tolerable at best. I'll come back to the characters and problems with them later, but for now I'll move on to the best part, our restaurant. We start by buying a few worktops, the necessary equipment for preparing food, and supplies from local vendors or from the forest. Cooking is based on mini-games. You press the right keys at the right time and voila! Your baked sparrow in pudding sauce is ready. Each station or device has its own unique minigame. They are simple, but they relax me and give me the impression of working, bustling around the kitchen, sweating as I prepare the next dishes. If you don't like pressing buttons, you can enable the auto-cooking option almost from the very beginning, which skips the minigames at the cost of slightly lower quality dishes. The quality of dish depends on how well you press the buttons, and the higher the quality, the greater the customer satisfaction, along with the tips. Skills help us run the business and are quite useful. They can be divided into 2 categories, these that add bonuses to gathering, quality, quantity, etc., and those that add new options, such as ability to organize parties, hire better employees, or build a laboratory to improve and discover new dishes. Over time we buy new equipment for the restaurant and add more tables. Our clientele grows, we hire waitresses and cooks. What used to be a ruin is now a booming business. I really enjoyed managing this restaurant, earning more and more money and upgrading everything I could. Running the restaurant is the main aspect of this game. It is the most developed and refined, because, as you will find out later, the rest is not so good. Let's go back to our eatery for a moment. We have nearly 180 dishes to discover. I think that's impressive. We obtain recipes in various ways. We can get them as a gift from someone or for completing a task, but most of the time we simply buy them from merchants or at any vending machine. We can decorate the room with flowers, bookshelves, lamps, sofas and other machines, but unfortunately they just stand there and have no functionality other than raising the prestige of the place. So we won't buy a can or gum, and neither will our guests. It's a bit of a shame. I made a small leisure and entertainment corner, which was empty. No one ever went there. If we wish, we can focus our business on one specialization. We can make a bar or a dessert place. However, obtaining recipes is random, and if we want to run an ice cream shop, for example, we have to work hard before we discover the recipes or get very lucky. The same applies to the availability of ingredients needed to prepare certain dishes. Naturally, we buy potatoes and lemons from merchants. We can go to the forest and pick herbs and mushrooms, and shoot at boar. And after unlocking the greenhouse, we can grow coconuts and coffee, but unfortunately, there is also a huge element of RNG here, because seeds sometimes appear at merchants, or very rarely drop from hunted animals. There is no shopkeeper who offers all the seeds. This leads to planting whatever we find, and not necessarily what we need. For example, I unlocked a legendary recipe, but I couldn't make it because I didn't have any cherries. And I didn't see a single seed to plant for 30 hours of gameplay. Jesus! If we befriend the merchants, we can then count on the ingredients being delivered directly to the restaurant, which is a very cool option. Except that the available assortment is fixed and consists of rather basic items. A new merchant or an option for direct delivery of all ingredients from a large city would be useful. And we move on to the game's drawbacks. And there are quite a few flaws. Starting with the ones closest to our character, a house. We start the game without our own house and sleep in a hotel. It took me a while to earn enough money for a house. And I was so happy that I rushed to the store to buy furniture, set it up. And oh shit. In 5 seconds it hit me that I had just wasted my money. Because apart from sleeping, there is nothing to do here. We have a refrigerator. And what? Nothing. We have a stove. And what? Nothing. We have all the restaurant equipment. And what? Nothing. What about the TV? Are you kidding? Nothing works in this house. There's only one channel on TV non-stop, and you can't even turn it off. We can't even cook. And that was important to me, because you can give gifts to the residents. And I thought we could give them something good. No, we can't. So maybe we can at least invite a girl here. What do you think? I think you know the answer. I won the heart of one girl. I went on dates with her to local attractions like the beach, the market, the swamp. Romantic to the max. She agreed to be my girlfriend, but she didn't move into the apartment. But wait. I see there's a second level to the house, so I collect some money and upgrade it. Maybe it's too cramped for her. And with a bigger house I unlock new features. After a few days I pick up the keys to the bigger cottage, and she's not there. I talk to her and nothing comes of it. My chosen one still has the same text she had for a long time, and 0 new options. To sum up, I bought a house where I couldn't do anything. Then I spent more money on a bigger house so I could do even greater amount of nothing in it. At the moment it's a complete waste of time and money. Just like starting romances, we gain nothing. It's only worth it to gain enough admiration from a given merchant, so that I will deliver goods to our restaurant. That's it. The population is low in general, and the vast majority are merchants. But despite this, the city is not empty, because there are lots of random NPCs walking around. There's no point in talking to them either. But what is unusual is that these walkers often look better than the residents, with more interesting combination of clothes and hairstyles than the regular citizens. There are seasons in the game, but they don't have as big an impact on flora and fauna as you might think. Only winter causes some plants to disappear from the forest, but this is not noticeable with the others. Personally, I didn't feel any significant changes related to other seasons. The music is good, but there isn't enough of it. We have one track for each season, plus a few assigned to other locations. But most of the time we hear the same tunes over and over again. And sometimes it freezes and a track plays all the time, no matter what we do or where we are, or it doesn't turn on at all, and we have complete silence. The village events are definitely a plus. They are not copied and pasted from other games. For example, in the summer we build lanterns, and in the spring we play poker combined with a game of 3 cups. At each festival we have a shop with themed furniture, which is really cool. I like these festivals, but again, there aren't enough of them. We have one festival per season, except for autumn, where there are two, and two per month would be just right. The map is quite large, but the areas in the north are almost unused. We have one or two tasks there and zero new ingredients to find, except for the volcano where you can dig up a few new rare resources. After unlocking these areas, I was hoping for something more, even if it was just new fruits to collect, but we have nothing. What about the storyline and side quests? The first act is really just an introduction, where we learn how to run a restaurant through various tasks. The second and third acts are more interesting, but a bit short. There aren't many tasks and it took me a while to complete them, because I needed some time to gather the necessary items. I am left feeling unsatisfied, and there aren't many additional tasks either. Despite these flaws, I spent 30 hours playing the game, driven by curiosity and desire to see what was around the corner. From this perspective, it seems that it's not so bad after all. To sum up, the game is still in early access, and I played the latest version, which was released on December 18. At the moment I give it a rating of 3 out of 5. I spent a lot of hours in the game having fun running a restaurant. However, the other elements are still missing or barely present, which leaves me feeling unsatisfied and gives the impression that only the core element of the game, the restaurant, is present. However, it's a solid core, and I hope that one day we will see the full version of this production, and the rating will most likely be higher. That's all for today. Be well!